Hey, YouTube. Okay, so here I'm going to pick up where I left off. However, I'm going to stick to the NQ, trading this guy. So we're going to use the overall bias that I usually use and not the stuff I've been seeing on social media with silver bullet strategy. So if I look at the analytics here, just to get kind of understanding where I'm sitting with this. In the beginning, I was taking way too many trades per day, especially if I had losses, I would take three or four. And stricter rules after this point. You can see the equity curve had a nice gradual climb. Might have violated my rule just a couple of times. And I started making smaller risks. So rather than 1 or 2%, I was just doing a 0.5%, and had much better, consistent results. But being that in this session, I want to see what happened if I switched back to 1% now that I built up some equity. Just to give you an idea, this was after almost 2 months, or I'm sorry, 3 months of trading. It's about 2.5 months. So let's get back to the back testing and let's get this thing moving. And you can check out my other live stream back testing to get an idea of what the strategy is, or you're just gonna kind of see when I start executing. So first thing I want to do, switch to the 15. And so our time frame to trade is between 10 a.m. Eastern, New York time, and 11. So I'm just going to fast forward until that time, kind of see it when it gets about the 9 o'clock. These purple boxes are the new week opening gaps. If you're not familiar with ICT or new week opening gap, I suggest you check that out. It's very helpful in this strategy. So right here, we could check the time. Here's my account balance. I started with 50K, and it's been 3 months. It's up, where's that, 30%? All right, so 9:30, 9:45, 10 a.m. All right, now at this point, I know what price action has done. I can look at the daily and see that we are on a Monday. We're in a downward trend. We're in 2022, May 2022, towards the end of the month. And we just swept some liquidity on the low, and we have a volume imbalance above. We are in a downward trend, so I'm not in any way thinking we're bullish, but we just swept some major liquidity here. This is looks like it's a breaker, so just kind of highlight some data that we have here. This would be a breaker. Change the color. We can see that these down close candles were actually smart institutional buyers soaking up um, orders in order to send the price higher. And you see almost a nice reaction off of this is I think another breaker. Oh no, it's not a breaker, it's just an order block. We have a nice reaction off a breaker, then an order block, support here, and we could see some support here short term. I'm not too sure why there's a gap here. That's weird. Uh, because the market might want to reprice into this area. If I zoom in a little bit, just like having a weekly bias, this is kind of what I do on Sundays. This is exactly what I do on Sundays. And so knowing that we have some opportunity here to possibly go long, we have highs here and we have a volume imbalance up here. And volume imbalance is a difference between two candles, close and opens. There's wicks covering them, but there's a with market efficiency paradigm, we want to see price maybe also aim for the liquidity above this high because we're in a bearish market, but kind of want to see a reaction off of this and a pull up this week. So I'm not going to mark out anything on the daily, but if I look at the 4 hour, I can see some nice liquidity here and a SIBI, sell side balance, buy side efficiency. And then what I'm noticing with these new week opening gaps is that price will often want to bounce off of them. We can see we kind of touched one here and then dropped down, and then it's holding support right now, right at the New York Open on this Monday. And so let's see what else we got here. So this is a balanced price range. However, it hasn't broke structure on this time frame. So I don't know if that's too significant, but we're seeing this order block being respected. So if I draw this out, maybe we can combine these two. Might be a different time frame. Seems like this is a pretty high area of resistance. However, we have some highs here that we might want to clear, and this SIBI that we might want to fill in a little bit uh, in order to, it's just a reason for liquidity to draw. Yes, you could say this is a downward market, but liquidity or the price might want to draw into liquidity because of these two factors. So back in the 15, I'm just going to mark out possible areas of liquidity. I like this one here because it's a new week opening gap. So I'm going to erase that, and then let's go to the 5-minute. So here we cleared these highs in the 5-minute, and we cleared these lows. So this is considered seek and destroy type of scenario. This would be considered a breaker. So we broke structure to the downside, and then we immediately broke structure to the upside. Anybody who's long and short got kind of killed in this scenario. I don't think there's news on this day, but it might be. Usually seek and destroys happen on Mondays or the day before news. So I'm not looking at historical news prices right now in order to backtest. I'm just kind of going by this. So when I see a something like this, I usually wait till 10:10 just for something more to form, because what we'll get is a sweep of liquidity that might want to tell us we're thinking to go long, and then something doesn't reveal itself. Okay, so let's look on a higher time frame and let's see if this swept anything. It really didn't sweep anything. It kind of tapped into maybe this low, if you consider that liquidity, or this being a breaker. But we are seeing a close above the new week opening gap. So it could be just filling in this gap a little bit more and then possibly going up. If I look at this, there's a kind of a double top here in the 1-minute. And if I want to be conservative, I could, let's see how this candle closes. Okay, that's pretty strong close. If I go to a 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute, let's see how, I'm going to give it one more candle close because it didn't create a fair value gap. Okay, so now we have a fair value gap. We have a break of structure here. Liquidity was tapped into. We went into premium price level. We saw a strong reaction. So premium is anything above the 50%, and discount is here. Smart money will want to short into premium. They don't want to pay discount prices in a shorting environment. So this is good enough for me to say right here, I'm going to go ahead and short. I'll just market order in here because this is a fair value gap already, and price is on its way up. So if we take a short right here, probably want to make my stop something like that, and I'll take profit. I'm looking for something more than 1.5. So let's look at a higher time frame. I will put it, see, let's look at the 5 minute, see if there's any structure in the 5. Yeah, there's this low right here, and that gives me, oops, I used the wrong tool. I'm supposed to go short. $5 minute. And this is 2. So that's a good risk to reward. Let's go back on the 1 minute. And then this backtesting software is pretty cool. You can place market order. And I'm going to do 1% of the current balance. And I'm going to keep it at 1% rather than a half. I think I was at a half before. So risking 600 to make 650 to make 1350. And we'll do a market order. Go ahead and save that. Let's see how this plays out. Immediately stopped out. So we tapped into premium again. Now my rule is that I can trade twice per session. And what I've found is that I generally have the direction wrong. So I will enter a long now and hopefully not get stopped out again. But in some of my testing, I found that, let's see if there's any more distant highs. Oh, it's better. Is that if I'm wrong about the direction in one trade, if I take the next one in the other direction, in this case, was there a market structure shift? Yeah, with displacement, and we have a fair value gap. So you gotta take that trade, market that in, and then we'll hit forward. Now we're hitting the 70% mark. So typically I would have kept this a short trade, but just statistically speaking, when I switch direction, when I have a losing trade and I switch direction, more often than not, it ends up playing out right for me. This might not be the case this time, but as we can see, we're clearing new highs. If I would have continued to trade short with a short bias, being that this is the premium level, I probably would have taken a short here and taken another loss. So just statistically speaking, I mean, it usually works out. And then the other thing I do is at 1.5 R, which will be right. This whole thing is almost 1.5, so I'll just leave it. But at 1.5 R, I usually leave it break even. So let's see how this plays out. At the highs, I'll move it to break even. It's past 11:30. I get nervous at around lunch because you can see a really strong price run. So right here, I'm going to move it to break even or even in profit because I just want to recoup my, how much did I lose? Yeah. What's up? Talking to YouTube. No, you're okay. No. I was just doing back testing on YouTube, kind of like.
You record yourself?
Yeah, it kind of gives me a little bit of things I can log. So I'm gonna move my stop up here because I think it's gonna maybe not fill me, and we get stopped out. But that was a nice, almost K. So that took care of the previous loss and then some. And then let's go to the next day. So not bad for Monday considering they're typically my worst days, Mondays and Tuesdays. Let's see how this goes. All right, so let's look at the daily. So we're on a Tuesday on a downward trend. We're retreating quickly from the new week opening gap from Monday. So we could see a really continuation day looking for, I think this day we're gonna aim for sell side liquidity. And yeah, the liquidity looks good. However, we have some relatively equal highs above that we also have to consider. So actually this high would be good. I'm not too sure why there's such an extreme price gap there. And then on the 15-minute, we have high right here we consider. In the 5-minute, we have this order block here. The low I would consider if it taps into that order block and then gives us a market structure shift, we can consider that. So let's go ahead and forward. It already kind of did and then puked on it right there. I should also mark out longer term. Oh, I do. Okay, I have that marked out. We also have an order block right here that we can consider for a long before it takes liquidity. That's right there. That's perfect. Actually, it'd be right here. Okay, so we're diving into that order block. Now we have a 1003 candle here that formed a high. We possibly purged that and create a fair value gap right below. So being that it's such a trendy day, I would consider a short trade here. However, if you look at the risk to reward would be ridiculous. It would be like 5-1, which could work out, but it seems a little unlikely. 4.6. Let's see how price reacts here. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take a short here. It's a little bit less risk to reward, but I'm actually more comfortable with that scenario than something crazy like before. So we'll place a market order short for 1%. See how that plays out. It looks like we're breaking structure. We get stopped out. Where's the 930 candle? So the rule is we got to take a long now. And from this low, we did have a market structure shift on the upside. I just like to see it in premium. I'm sorry, in discount. Right here. We have a small one here, but I think this is in it's definitely in discount and it's in OTE. So I would say we'll go along there. Stop below the lows and consider these highs if they don't get tapped beforehand. Even if these highs do get tapped, I think price will kind of come up here, come back down and fill us. Let's place limit order. Oh, let's get tapped. There we go. Tapped in. And what was the R to R? 1.4. And it's going to hit really quick. Oh, that's nasty. All right, that was a nice winner. It's 2 in a row. That wicked us in for another $900 winner. I mean, right on the tick. Let's see what price does. I'm just curious. And like I'm saying, everybody thought price is bullish. It's dropping. Look what happens. Just continues to climb up. Crazy. Makes no sense. Are you smoking in here?
No.
Oh, you can smell it.
Yeah, it's pretty. This one's pretty potent. It's like, wish I had a grinder or something because it's so sticky. It's hard to break up.